It's a summer of change for Durham's Fire Department. The city and fire districts in the county are merging, and the city's chief of 5 years is retiring. Not only is Chief Dan Curia leaving his current position, but he's leaving behind a department that he's worked tirelessly for the past 3 decades. What's in store for him, and what do all these changes mean for you? We're going straight to the man himself to get the answers we're looking for. Welcome to City Life. I'm Beverly Thompson. Joining me to talk about everything that's going on with himself and the fire department is Chief Dan Curia. Welcome, Chief, and thank you so much for joining me. First off, I know you've been with the Durham Fire Department for about 28 years now, and you'll be retiring officially August 1st. For those of you who don't know, you've had a lot of jobs with the Durham Fire Department. What have they been, and what have you learned from them?
Well, I started as a firefighter in 1990 and then spent most of my time in the fire department's operations division. So within the fire department, I've held every uniformed rank up to fire chief. So that's firefighter, driver, captain, battalion chief, assistant chief, and deputy chief. And as far as what I've learned, it's just the overriding mindset in the fire department, particularly the Durham Fire Department, is that we're here to help. And the form of help that we give at different ranks might take different shapes, but the mission is to help.
Have you enjoyed one role more so than the other?
I would say 2 that come to mind are the firefighter. And the reason I enjoyed that was because that's the person who is really the hands-on help that people need and people get. And then the fire chief position, because the fire chief gets to set the strategic direction for the organization and gets to pivot the department into spaces they may not even see they have to go.
So City Manager Tom Bonfield has credited you with lowering response times, making the department more efficient, and making the department more data-driven, which is important nowadays. How have you worked to do each of these jobs and do them so efficiently?
Well, the first thing I would have to say is that nothing in the fire department happens without the team. So we wouldn't be able to accomplish anything in the Durham Fire Department if we didn't have great people. So it's our people that do everything that you just said. They're the ones who lower our response times, and they're the ones who give us the gains in efficiency. So if I were to pinpoint one thing that we've done to make those things possible, it's that we've identified goals that 5 years ago seemed unattainable. And we've pursued those goals one day at a time, just one little improvement at a time. And sometimes you go a week or a month and you don't see any improvement. But when you start to look at those things over 3 months or a year, you start to see that you're doing really great things. And the other thing I would say is that we've simply asked our personnel to give their best effort. There's never anything punitive. It's just that overriding feel that we're here to help. And to help, we have to give our best effort.
I hear you. So how have these changes you've made a difference in the department and the community?
Well, we have lowered response times, which is good for us because the quicker we can get to an emergency, the better off the public is. Whether it's a fire or whether it's a medical emergency, time really does count in emergency services. And then efficiency gains, if I were to point out things that we've done in the fire prevention division. 5 years ago, we had so many businesses in the city that we couldn't get to provide fire inspections. And we couldn't get there for a couple of years. And just retooling the division, shifting to a more technology-based focus, and allocating the workload a little better has really paid off. And now we get into businesses in a more timely manner. And often what we find is that if there are fire code violations, it's nothing that was intended, and it gives us a good opportunity to educate the public on what we need to see.
Tell me then, what are you most proud of when you talk about your job as chief?
I am proud of the service we deliver. And the service we deliver is second to none. The Durham Fire Department, for anybody who doesn't know, and I think most people probably haven't used our service, which is a good thing.
It's a good thing.
The Durham Fire Department is second to none. there are top-notch firefighters who care. And when you come into an organization like the fire department or the police department or 911, one thing that you can do is teach skills. But one thing you can't do is teach people to lead with their heart. And the Durham Fire Department really does lead with its heart. So that's what I'm proud of.
That comes from the top down. You know that.
We have good people.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. So you're not just going off to play golf.
No.
You're headed to another career after you leave the city of Durham. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I will retire from the city on August the 1st, and then I will start a new career, same career, different location in Charleston, South Carolina, and I will be their fire chief.
Tough place to go, isn't it, Charleston?
Well, they have palm trees and, and lots of water.
That sounds good to me.
Yes.
So what made you finally decide to take on that challenge? I know it was tough for you.
It was. I always thought that I would be the person in the city of Durham who worked 34, 35 years. And I think that's really a testament to the leadership in the city and the people that we have working in the city. I could not point to one thing that I'm not happy with. And sometimes I sit back and wonder why I'm giving it all up. But I really think that the Charleston Fire Department is a good fit for me for my skill set. And they have needs down there in the fire department, the need to build bridges and to establish relationships and good positive relationships. So that's very appealing. But the one thing I've come to realize that I think would be of interest is that the Durham Fire Department doesn't need me anymore. And I don't mean that in a mean way whatsoever. We've worked for 5 years to make sure that our succession plan is in place. And we have set lofty goals for the department, and we've worked 5 years to realize them. Ground that we never thought we could cover. We have covered in 5 years, and there's no better time to step out of an organization than when you're at the top. So that's my reason.
Well said, well said. Well, tell me then, as you've been here all this time, what wisdom and knowledge have you gained over the past few years? Do you think you can take with you to help, I guess, transform the new fire department that you're going to, or to Charleston?
I think that what I've learned is that there are no perfect days. And once I have a perfect day, I will demand other people have perfect days also. I'm going to be 50 this year. It's never happened. So in those imperfect days, you focus most of your time on the positive. And you don't disregard the negative things that happen, but if you focus on the positive, things will get better. And the only time you don't mess something up is when you don't try. And I think if I take that mindset to another organization and just provide them a safe space to do their jobs well and be nice, and I pick them up and dust them off when they fall, we'll be okay.
Wow, well said. Gosh, you're bringing me to tears. That's great. But I do know, seriously, that you're leaving the city just as the city and the county fire districts are merging.
Yes.
Okay, and I know you worked really hard on that project, 2-3 years, I believe.
Yes.
Why did you feel that change was needed?
If you look at the delivery of fire service across the county, but particularly in South Durham and East Durham, there were a lot of efficiency gains to be made if we could bring all the response partners under one umbrella, provide one response plan that allowed us to shift resources when the need would arise. And then also, the Durham Fire Department was already planning to expand into East and South Durham. If we expanded without partnering with the county, what would happen is that the city would build fire stations and the county would build fire stations, and we would duplicate service. Not that additional fire service is a bad thing, but it comes with a duplicate cost also. And that's not responsible for us to engage in that practice.
Certainly not good for the taxpayers.
Exactly. So the best thing for us to do is to figure out how we can work together to create a better system.
So where are those stations located for people who don't know?
So on July 1st, when the fire departments consolidate, there will be a new Durham Fire Station 18, and it will be in an existing county building on Seton Road in South Durham. And then the new Durham Fire Station 19 will also be in an existing county building, and that will be on Old Page Road in South Durham.
All right.
And that will lend the response patterns very nicely with the addition of Station 17, which will be on Leesville Road.
Okay, I was going to ask you, what does that mean for the residents who live in those areas? Because it's really an expansion for the city.
It is an expansion for the city. For the residents, they shouldn't see any different service. Fire trucks will still show up. The fire trucks will have a different name. The firefighters will have a different uniform. But we were very intentional to make sure that the county firefighters were brought into the city, and the same firefighters they had before July 1st are the firefighters that will respond now. It just gives us an umbrella in which to operate with a common operational plan.
54 new firefighters?
There's going to be 53 firefighters,
53.
And then 2 civilian positions that come into the Durham Fire Department, and then 2 additional civilian positions that go to fleet management.
Okay. Is there anything else you think viewers should know about the merger and what it means to them or what the benefit is to them?
I would want people to know that every analysis that we've done has shown that we should be able to further improve response times. We should be able to increase the level of medical care that we give. And with a common operational plan, we'll be able to shift resources very easily into areas when response gaps arise. So the quality and timeliness of fire protection, they should not see anything other than what they've come to expect.
So, Chief, you certainly left a lasting legacy for Durham. Are there any closing words you want to say to our viewers, to the residents, and to your staff as you turn a new page in your life?
I would say it's been a great ride, and the people in Durham and the people in the fire department and the people in the city are the finest people I've ever met. And I don't think there's ever been a day when I've come to work not wanting to come to work. And I have to say, our city manager has pushed me hard over the last 5 years. But with somebody challenging you every day comes a lot of growth. And he's fantastic.
He is.
For the city. And the trajectory that Durham is on is absolutely fantastic. And I leave knowing that the fire department is going to meet the challenges ahead. And that's extremely gratifying.
Good. Thank you so much for joining me. And don't forget, you're always welcome back.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Well, that does it for City Life. Don't forget to follow us on social media, watch us on Durham Television Network and on YouTube, and listen to our podcast on iTunes. I'm Beverly Thompson. Thank you for joining me to learn more about city life in Durham.